am trying to go live in both places. It looks like it is now working. So I wanted to hop on today. So you guys know I'm doing my Grow the Glow series. So this is the second part of the Glow to Grow series. We're doing good already twice this week. So we are already off to a really good start. But I wanted to talk about, because it's popped up yesterday. It pops up all the time. And it pops up with me. It pops up with my clients. Like it pops up with people all the time. And so I posted about it earlier on Facebook, and I was living it yesterday, and I told you guys the Glow the Grow series. I'm going to talk to you about the things I'm living, right, as I'm growing the glow, right. And for those who are like the glow up of my business, and I'm just calling it the glow up of my business because hey, that's what it is. Hey Lisa, how are you doing? So I see someone else going, hey Terry, how you doing? Oh, my girls is here, guys. All right. So let me tell you what I did yesterday. So it's gonna start with what I did yesterday. And if you were in my stories, I don't know where I put it in my stories, but if you were in my stories yesterday, you know that I went scouting for photo shoot locations. So got a photo shoot coming up in a few weeks. I'm gonna be looking for a makeup artist. Just want y'all to know that. But got a photo shoot coming up, and yesterday my mom and I went and scouted out some locations and stuff. And some of you guys know, but if you don't know, I live in New Jersey, right on the edge of New York. And so I've always wanted the whole New York City skyline, city girl kind of photo shoot. Not super cheesy, but always wanted one, right? So I got one coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's not my first photo shoot. I've got some, yes, I do wish we were in the same city, right? At least that'd be perfect. We're going to meet up one day. Not just for makeup, but overall. And then I can, use services. But yeah, so we went to go look for locations. This isn't my first photo shoot. This is probably like a third or fourth. I don't do them nearly enough, right? But I do them. So I'm just gonna say I do a couple. I'm not even gonna tell you how old my current photos are, but yeah, it's definitely time for a new photo shoot. And so I'm gearing up for that, right? And I'm telling you guys all this stuff because a lot of people will be like, oh, you can start without photos. You can start without a website. You can start without, people will tell you how to start your business real well, real fast, and all the things you can start without. And it's true. You don't need a photo shoot. I'm not a go get photos all the time girl, but I am becoming a go get photos more time, not all the time, but at least more times girl, right? But you can start without some of these things. You can, get off the ground, start selling out your product, start talking to people about what you sell and stuff like that. You can start that way. But the problem I see is that when people stay, which is the title of this thing, you can start small, but don't stay there. But when people stay where they are and essentially stay small, I just got finished reading, and do I have a book over here? I don't. I think it's in the other room. Man, I had it in here. I'm gonna find it. We're gonna put it in my stories. I just got finished listening to, because I do audiobooks, but I do own the paper copy. Right? I get the hardback, but then I listen to the audio. But I just got finished listening to Rachel Rogers' We Should All Be Billionaires book, which is a pretty dope book. So if you've not listened to it, listen to that, right? But one of the things that she talks about in the group is in the book is she gives a lot of stats, and I'm a stats numbers data girl. So she gives a lot of stats, and one of them, which I already knew, but she put numbers to it. So let me quote them, right? One of them, she talked about how women, especially Black women, are one of the leading groups to start businesses and become entrepreneurs and all that other great stuff. But we are not the leading in actually making money, right? So we may have more businesses, but we're not the ones making the most money. And I think I said in my post this morning, something like 4%, only 4% of the businesses opened by women make it to the 500K and over mark. And I get people all the time who are like, oh, I want to make 6 figures. Oh, I want to make 7 figures. Oh, I want to make all these figures, which is so doable. It's completely doable. I want y'all to strive for multi 6 figures, because I'm going to tell you, as someone who had a 6-figure salary, that it's not a lot, but that's a whole nother story, right? That we'll talk about that in another Grow the Glow, because we will need to talk about that. But they want to make all this stuff, but yet, like I said, only 4%. 4%. And it was like 4% of a couple of million, her exact quote, but that's a lot of people and not a lot of people actually making it and doing it and getting to the next level. So part of that goes back to the not growing. People want to stay where they are and people want to stay doing the things. When I hear someone talk about how they started their business without a website, I cringe, right? I started without a website. I don't need a website. I'm in the DMs, all that stuff. And I cringe. I cringe not just because, hey, Kay, how you doing? I cringe not just because I used to be a web designer and I believe that you need a website, but also because I know how much they're holding themselves back by internalizing this mentality of you don't have to do things that are going to help you to grow. Because that's literally what it is. I mean, who really starts out and says, I don't want a website? If someone came, and here's the thing too, and here's how you can always test it, right? If money weren't an object, right? If someone came and was like, I'm going to give you a website, would you say no? Half the people that tell me that they like where they are or that they're comfortable where they are or that they don't have to do X, Y, and Z where they are, if I told them it was going to happen for free, if I told them it was just going to drop in their lap, they would happily accept it. And so when we think about it, we got to have these conversations. Y'all already know by now, if you follow me a little bit, you know by now I have a lot of self-talk, right? I sit down and have these conversations with myself. So I want you to have conversations with yourself too, right? But I do a lot of self-talk and a lot of conversations with myself. And sometimes it's just about being real with yourself. Like, do you really not want to grow? Or do you really not want that thing? I get the same thing with SEO. Oh, I'll do SEO later. Oh, I don't have time for SEO. And I'm like, but if SEO fell in your lap, if I said I'll just do it for you, would you need it now? And most people are like, yeah, I would need it. I would take it. I would happy, waiting for the giveaway. And when you say that, again, when you have that self-talk and you realize that, yes, you would have taken it. Yes, you do see that you need it. All of that, I don't need these things, is you putting your growth on hold. You starting small because of whatever limitations, whether it be money limitations or time limitations or family limitations. Like I was just in another thread this morning, and they were talking about, which if you guys have not listened to the latest podcast episode, we just dropped the new episode yesterday, and it's dope. And this one, it's dope because it's one of those ones where I talk about the things that I do to make my business work. So this one is about keeping your business on track for the summertime. So really, really go over to Girl Get Visible podcast and listen to that. But I was telling someone said, how do you guys who have kids and stuff like this, how do you run your businesses, right? And so I ran down, I probably gave her like 5 or 6 different things that I do. And with a 6-year-old, which mind you, I've had my business for years. He was not always 6 years old. I did this when he was newborn. I did this when he was 2. I did this when he was 3. I'm doing this now when he's 6. Things do change because they do, kids change as they grow, but it wasn't always the 6-year-old kid, right? But either way, I gave her a whole bunch of things that I do. And her first response was, well, but, when it started with the but, right? It was like, well, but my child is this age, and but my child is active, and but all of these things. And I know from working with people, especially working with women for years, that but is about to be them playing small, right? But I can't find the time because of ... Like one of my little tips that I gave her was, I let my kids stay up at night. I do. Right? Call it what you will. I let him stay up at night. He does not have to be in bed at 8, right? But he still doesn't get his 8 hours of sleep. But I let him stay in bed at night because I want him to sleep. Especially now, like it's summer. He doesn't have anything to get up for yet. Sleep until 10. I'm happy because if he sleeps until 10, I generally wake up around 6, 7 o'clock naturally anyway. That is 3-4 hours I can get some work done. So if I let him watch an extra movie at night, I can get more work done in the morning. Y'all see how that works out for me, right? And so I just own this. But people will tell me all these reasons why you can't do this, why you can't do that, right? So just like the photo shoot I have coming up, people say, but I don't have time, but I don't have the money for it, but I don't have this, and this. And all of those buts are what's holding them back. All of those things that are refusing to grow, you've got to get on like the growth scale. It's funny because Rachel Rodgers has a growth scale, but you've got to get on the traction and the trajectory of growing, right? We always learn a lot of programs and stuff will teach you how to start a business, but they don't really teach you how to grow the business. Right. And so what happens is people start these businesses and they're working way too hard. Right. And more, not only they're working way too hard, they're not seeing the results. Like I asked not too long ago, how many people does a person need on their list, right? Like if you're growing your list, what is your list at right now? And folks were under 1,000. And I'll be the one to tell you, and some of my clients are on here, so they'll tell you that I will tell you that under 1,000 is low. And we need to be honest with ourselves, right? We need to be, actually got a podcast episode that I have not released that talks a little bit about this, and I should release it, right? But we need to be thinking of what are the things that's going to take me to growth. Most people that come to me and want to work on SEO and want to work on their content, want to work on their visibility, they are not new businesses. But if you look at their numbers, if you look at how many people are coming to their websites, if you look at how many people are on their email list, if you look at how many people even follow them, you would think they started yesterday. Maybe a couple of months, right? It may not be too bad, right? But you would think they were at least under 12 months, right? If a Fortune 500 company did not get the amount of growth that most of our businesses don't get, people would be fired, heads would be rolling, stock prices would be down, right? But somehow we get into business and we think if we just keep doing the same old thing, if we keep just playing it small and doing these small things, if we don't have a website, if we don't create content, all the time people are like, well, what should I share on social? And I'm like, well, what was your last blog post? Oh, I didn't do a blog post. Well, that's why you don't have anything to share on social. You're saying the same thing over and over and over again because you weren't creating something new. It's all an ecosystem. And those people who you do see going above and beyond and going in that growth direction that you admire, that you want to, like, people will listen to the podcast and admire the podcast. But when I say, where's your content? They don't have any. So you admire the stuff that's coming out of the growth and the creation, but you're not internalizing enough to do the same for your own business. You guys see where I'm going with there? Like, you can't just keep doing the same things you did yesterday. James Wedmore says this a lot. He says, what is it? What got you there, what got you here won't get you there. And he's usually talking about like what got you to 6 figures won't get you to 7. I'm saying what got you that first person or that first client is not what's going to get you the next 10. What got you the next 10 is not what's going to get you 100. And none of what got you the starting stuff, like the first inventory, the first clients, the first things, is going to be the thing that's going to get you to the 6 figures. You're going to have to do things that are going to contribute to your growth. And you guys already know I'm going to say SEO is one of them, right? Visibility is one of them. One of the things I said, if you read my post this morning, and it'll probably end up on my Instagram so far. Sorry, Instagram folks, it'll get there. But one of the things I said in my thing this morning is, when do you stop selling to the people that you know? A lot of people never get beyond selling to the people that they know. And I'm not saying getting to know your people, like that's different. You get to know somebody. I've got clients who I met through visibility and now they're like my friends, right? So I got to know them, but I didn't know them before. Some people are stuck with my local folks, my church folks, my sorority folks, the moms in the school, parenting thing. Like some folks are still just showing the couple of people who follow me on Instagram because I kept telling them to follow me on Instagram and they're my friends and they wanted to be nice and they followed me. And they're not looking at their numbers and saying, you know what? I've had 100 people on my Instagram for months. And so they're not putting in a growth strategy. They're not putting in anything that's going to grow that beyond 5 or 6. But what they'll do is go live, right? They'll go live and they'll make posts and they'll say all these things and say they're doing all of these things, but they aren't actually growing. They are literally just churning away. They'll start Facebook groups and have a couple of 100 people. and never actually, like, how many of you guys here got a couple of people on Facebook, a couple of people on Instagram, I don't know how many people on YouTube, but hey guys, if you're there, right, how many people, give me numbers in the thing, or give me a hand raise in the thing, how many of you guys track your numbers at least monthly? Hey, sing out loud. How many of you guys track your numbers at least monthly? Give me a thumbs uppy thing or a hand raisey thing. At least monthly, you are tracking to see what was the number last month. And then I'm going to ask you a second question as you answer that question, because I know there's a little bit of a delay, right? If you track monthly, when you see that that number has not significantly moved from the previous month, how many of you are putting in a real growth strategy to get to the next month, to make sure that it is going, like, how many are like, hey, like I tell people all the time, pitch to be on podcasts. That's a great way to grow. Pitch to be on podcasts. I did a whole live about that. So if you guys are on any of these channels, you can go back into my lives and see I did a whole live about pitching to be on podcasts, right? Whole live about pitching to be on podcasts. People will see that their numbers have not significantly changed, and then they don't do something within that next 30-day clip that is going to get them to larger numbers, get that number going up. Looking at these numbers, tracking, and all these things we're not just doing it to see our stuff. Like, I track my numbers not just to see them. And I know everybody says, well, if you focus on it, but you don't do anything about it, it's not going to grow. Knowing is not the problem, right? Knowing is what G.I. Joe said. And I'm sure I'm dating myself, because apparently people don't know that G.I. Joe used to say this, right? But G.I. Joe said knowing is half the battle, right? After you know, you need to do something, right? And going back to what I'm doing now, growing the glow, right? Getting new photos. The reason why I'm getting new photos is because, one, Mo has told me we need new photos for social and to put different places. I want to do some new campaigns. All this stuff is now on my growth stuff. What am I going to do? Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's G.I. Joe. But what are we going to do to get to the next level? Because staying with my photos on my thing, on my phone, I'm going to be making some updates to my website, updates to my programs, all that stuff. If I just stick with it the way it is, I'm not going to grow. We're doing a ton of more content creations. You guys know I'm here talking to you, right? I told you guys I'm going to talk to you I'm going to talk to you past the next 100 days, but I've at least committed to the next 100 days to not just do my regular SEO content that I'm used to, but to also get more vulnerable and share more and stuff like that, because I need to grow. So what do you guys need to grow? Like, think about that. What do I need to do that I've not been doing? What is the thing I've been playing small? And I'm just going to say SEO, right? I'm just going to say it because that's what I say, right? Y'all know that's coming, right? You know I'm going to say SEO, because one of the things I can say, what has helped me a lot with consistent growth, especially when we go back to our email list. The reason why my email list continuously grows, even when I'm not working on it that much, is because people are always hitting my site. People are always hitting my site. The reason why I have a podcast, y'all know I'm a little wayward with my podcast, but the reason why I have a podcast and didn't just give up, I might take off a month, but I never give it up, is because I know it's going to consistently help me get more people. It's going to consistently help me grow. And when those numbers don't look right, guess what I do? I pump out some more episodes, right? I do the thing that I'm supposed to do to get the growth going, to keep it going. Right? A lot of people say, we want to know more about your journey. We want to know more about what you do. I'm going to tell you what I do isn't rocket science. I create content, but apparently this is the content that people wanted. So I had to take that next step to growth, right? Me just knowing my numbers isn't going to help. Me just, doing what I've been doing isn't going to help. If I want to grow the glow, which we do, right? We want to grow the glow. We're growing, right? If I want to do these things, I'm going to have to step up on some growth. I'm going to have to take things to the next level. I was just on another live this morning, and she was talking about a program about doing live events that I'm going to take. And I'm taking it. Well, granted, I do live events. I got one coming up, which actually, if you guys don't know, June 10th and 11th, head on over. Oh, I did here on my on my page, I put a little banner for you guys, right? You guys can't see the banner here, but head on over to girlgetvisible.com/traffic in July, because we're going to be talking about these kind of things. What do you need to do to grow? What do you need to do to get traffic? What are we going to do to grow those numbers? That's what we're going to be talking about and doing it during the traffic weekend. And I know, Lisa, you're joining us already. A couple of folks are on there that are already joining us for this weekend, because this is my signature weekend. But I'm going to tell you guys, let me tell you how I started delivering this Traffic Accelerator weekend, right? And this is my second time delivering it. Previously, I used to deliver similar content in a 8-week course, right? An 8-week thing, which was 6, and then it became 8, and blah, blah. And I realized two different things. I realized that people wanted this a little bit faster. People didn't want to take, or didn't need to take, honestly, be real, right? People wanted to take less than 2 months to get everything, just to get started. People were frustrated with that, right? And I gave the analogy of, like, if you hired somebody and they took 2 months to learn something to be up and running in your business, you probably would not keep that person, right? But yet we take these courses and we take 2 months. So boom, I got rid of all that, right? I wanted to deliver it faster to get people faster results. And so that's why I started delivering it in 2 days. The other thing is that I realized that people wanted more hands-on, wanted more hand-holding, wanted me there to help. And so I, again, made this into 2 days. That was me on my growth scale. Right? That was me, like, okay, the small thing I'm doing, trying to trickle this out there and do things the way everybody else is doing it. That was the other thing. Everybody else is doing 6 to 8 week courses. Let me do one too. That wasn't working. And if I wanted to grow, which I do, that's why we're here, right? If I wanted to grow, then I needed to do things a little bit differently. I needed to look at what people were saying, look at my audience, look at what's truly going to attract them. And I needed to bring them in and give them a product that they really wanted. And so that's exactly what I did. That's why we now have the Traffic Accelerator weekend, which the next one is July 10th and 11th. girlgetvisible.com/traffic in July. If you want to join us, it's in like 9 days now. We get started with this, but that was part of my growth. I am constantly, continuously looking at, what am I doing now? What can I do better? What is going to help me to grow? That's what's really, really important. So when I see people who are like, oh, I don't need a website. I've got people who are like, oh, I can't do SEO because I don't have a website, because I don't need a website, because you can get started with your business with a website. And they are absolutely right. You can get started in your business without a website, but you won't grow. Not everyone's going to DM you. Not everyone's going to just, always want to be on your feed. Not everybody's going to even see it on your feed. These Instagram, Facebook, all these folks, they are changing week after week after week. And what's crazy is they're changing, but we as business owners are not. We're not doing what we need to do to bring it to the next level. We're not taking that small baby step of getting started and then growing it to the next step. Imagine if you birthed a kid and they stayed in diapers. Kids in the beginning, they're supposed to be in diapers and poop and cry and do all the things. But by 3 years old, and some of us got businesses that are 3 years old that are not out of diapers. Let's be real honest, right? But by 3 years old, you want this kid to start walking and talking and being more like out there and doing things. At least starting 3 years old, at least starting to walk and talk, right? By 5, you need them going to somebody's school. I'll say that for the mom who's been virtually teaching for an entire year. You need them to go to somebody's school and be productive in somebody's school. By 18, 20, you need them to get out somebody's house and be productive. We don't do that with our businesses. We don't keep our businesses on and I don't expect you to treat your business like the kid, but we don't keep our business on that continuously trajectory of, I need to grow. What do I need to do next? What do I need to step it up? What do I need to make sure that's consistently growing and growing without me having to do all the things? So That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about my little bit of growth. So, like I said, I'm getting some photos done in a couple of weeks, and maybe I'll go live when I'm out there so you guys can kind of see what's going on. We've got some amazing locations. So, pray, pray, pray for good weather for me when it is time to go. We've got some amazing locations. I'm really, really excited about it. We've got the traffic weekend coming, so you guys will get to start putting together what are you going to do to grow? What kind of content are your people looking for? What are your numbers? I mean, how many of you guys look at your Google Analytics? I know someone said that they do look at their numbers. All right, sing it out loud. You look at your numbers. Are you looking at your Google Analytics? Right? Hey, Tasha. Tasha says she's next. Website and pictures. We could do that. We can do that this summer. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to have the thing that you are going to do next. Every company has a thing that they are going to do next, right? See you soon, Kate. Thank you. All right. So everybody has something they're going to do next, and you need to stop saying I'm going to do it and do it. And I'm not talking to you specifically, Tasha, but overall, we need to start saying we're going to do it and do it. We need to be thinking about what's next. If you aren't checking your Google Analytics, that is what we do the first morning when you show up. When you show up to the traffic weekend, the first thing we do is get real comfortable with your numbers, right? So we'll know where we are and we'll know where we can grow to. That is the first thing we do. I give an overview of SEO first. Then after that, we talk right and go right into your numbers, right? So you know what to do, and then we start going into your numbers because you need to know where you are and you need to know where you're going to go into, right? And then we start talking about the rest of the weekend. We're like putting together your plan. So people walk out of there with things done. Walk out of there with content plans, walk out of there with blog posts created, walk out of there with keywords that they know they now have. They walk out of this weekend with things done. I love programs like this because as you guys can see, I'm a get it done type of girl, right? And that's why we are where we are, because we get it done, right? We get it done, and then we can move to the next thing. And yes, and so it's a virtual class. So I keep saying live, but it's not live in person. It's live on camera. So it is virtual. It is 2 days, 2 full days, 10th and 11th. It'll be from like 10 to about 4:30-ish. Yes, there are some breaks and stuff like that. It's great if you can make it live. You do get the full recordings after the weekend, but it's great if you can make it live because it's a lot of hands-on. And we do like breakout sessions. There's some live coaching on there. I have one of my guest experts come in who teaches us, who's going to be teaching us keywords. Brittany is amazing. And so all that stuff is there. So the cost is $749, and then there is a payment plan if you want to do the payment plan. Is that Hellshire BB answering your question? So yes, so we do all the things and we really, like I said, you walk out of there done, right? I got my things in hand, and I can now go on to implement these in my business, because if you don't do them, then if you don't implement it, then you don't get the results, and I want you guys to get the results. All right. So any other questions, guys? I see Brenda's on. Hey, Brenda. See, you just joined. Let me look over here, my comments. But yeah, I want to just talk about that because I feel like a lot of our businesses, I want to up the 4% that Rachel, if you guys weren't here before in the very beginning, I quoted a stat from Rachel Rogers' new book, We Should All Be Millionaires. And one of the stats is that only 4% of, so majority of, which we already knew this, the majority of businesses are opened by women. Women are like the newest and growing group of entrepreneurs, and only 4% of those businesses make it to over 500,000 in revenue. Like only 4%. I want to make it to 5. I want to make it to 6. But I'll tell you what we've got to get real about in order to make it to those numbers is we've got to get real about what is our plan to grow. That's why I'm showing. So if you guys aren't following, I didn't talk about this. If you guys aren't following, follow me on YouTube, because that's where all the videos are going to be. But for the next 100 days, I am talking about we're growing the glow. So the glow up, right? The glow up doesn't just happen. We got to grow it, right? And so I am taking you guys through my little journey, the ups and downs of growing all of my stuff. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because we need to get these numbers up. We need to be real. Like, people will tell you how to start a business, but people won't tell you how to grow it. And I think that is the biggest injustice and, of people that say they're helping businesses is that they will show you how to start something. They will tell you to, get some products. They will tell you to talk to your friends. They will tell you other things. Let me tell you one more quick story before I go, because this just popped in my head. I used to do Mary Kay, right? And no shade to my MLMers, but they were teaching the products, the business and the products are good, and you can do really well at it, but their teaching sucks, right? Teaching sucks a lot. So I used to do Mary Kay. I did 2 MLM companies, but I used to do Mary Kay, and they really sucked. And one of the ways that they would tell you to sell the products was literally to call everybody every woman with a face that call every woman with a face. If she's got a nose and she's got some skin, some lips, then you should call her and see if she'll have a party. And if she agrees to have a party, tell her to call every woman she knows with a face, right? And then you can get them on. And then they used to tell you to do other really weird things. This is when I quit, right? When they were like, go to the grocery store and walk up to ladies and give them sample packets. Now, I'm just going to say, if somebody walked up to me and is like, I think your skin can use this, I'd be so offended, right? So I am not going to go out and offend other people. But to me, it was just the worst way to tell people to get out there and get started. They would tell you this, but they wouldn't tell you what the real marketing was. They wouldn't tell you the things, which is funny enough, because being Mary Kay and being who they are, they've got a whole research department. They know their ideal customer. They know who's going to buy their products. They know who the product lines are best for. They know all this information, but they didn't tell their consultants any of this stuff. They told their consultants to just walk up to people and just everyone with a face. You got a face? See if she'll just try her stuff, right? They didn't tell you all the research that they had years and years and years and years and years of, right? To say the perfect woman for this is this person. This is how you grow your team. This is how you grow your business. No, they sent you into, at the time it was Pathmark. Pathmark is now closed for those in Jersey, y'all know, right? They told you to go into Pathmark, our grocery store, and walk up to people, right? Warm chat. Yes. Walk up to people and tell them, you can use this, right? And call all your friends with a face and tell them that something on their face is wrong and that you can fix it. Right? This is what they told you to do. But I realize even now, outside of MLMs, a lot of people will do that. A lot of people will tell you how to start the thing. Here's how you start selling coaching. Here's how you start selling a class. Here's how you start selling memberships. Here's how you start doing all the starter things. And they don't tell you how to grow the thing. So I'm telling you guys how to grow the thing, right? I need you to get an audience. I need you to get some traffic. I need you to get some content we can share over and over and over again that can get found. I need you to get a good, solid platform in place that has people continuously going. Like you guys probably saw Therese's story. She's made 100K this year, right? This year already, because she had all the things. She had the platform, she had the traffic, she had the product in a sustainable system. She knows exactly who she's talking about. She's not looking for every person with a face. She's looking for people who want specifically to do something. And we use that to make content that attracts them. And we use that to help them do what they want to do. And that's how we get paid, right? So we still help people, right? So that is it. One little last story for you guys. Keep following as I continue to grow the glow and talk to you guys about it. I will see a bunch of you guys in the weekend, because I did see some things going off, ding, 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 that you are joining us in the weekend. If you did not see it, or you're not online, you don't see the link, it is girlgetvisible.com/traffic in July. And you can join us in 10 short days where we're actually going to be doing the things that we're talking about. Hey, my husband just joined. Hey, babe. Who's in this house somewhere, but hey, babe. So yeah, that is it. We that just wanted to chat about this, talk about these things, and continue to help you guys to grow your glow too. All right. Bye, guys. Talk to you later. You guys know I can only stop one at a time, right? Hey, Kat. I didn't see you join. Hey, Kat. Bye, guys.